players have played in the Super League and in the NRL. Fullback Gareth O'Brien, one of the Wolfpack's most recent signings, and it wasn't that long ago that he was playing here at Warrington. Likewise, Ashton Sims, the number 10. As far as Warrington are concerned, one of their newest signings, we've just seen him, Josh Charnley, sizzling form since his arrival back from Rugby Union. 10 tries in just 7 appearances. And watch out for the number 20, Harvey Livett. You won't miss him, fiery red hair, but also a terrific talent. Referee today is Ben Thaler. Should he be required, James Child is our video referee. Mr. Michalauskas and Mr. Moore are our 2 touch judges.
Steps down, boys.
So Stefan Ratchford is about to get things underway here. A test for Toronto and their longer-term Super League ambitions today. Warrington very much a part of the establishment and start as clear favourites, but that's never a guaranteed passage into the next round. Favouritism at this stage, and straight away it's Ashton Sims taking on some familiar faces with a trademark ferocious run forward as Toronto have possession. So let's hear from Jonathan Davis and first John Keir.
Yeah, straight away Toronto being expansive there, even in their own 20-metre zone. But what an exciting tie this is. We've got the North American franchise coming in, but also what we've got to remember, Dave, is the tradition of the Challenge Cup. This is step 1 of 3 steps towards Wembley, the biggest prize you can get.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what the boys said in studio. It's nice. I'm looking excited to watch these boys play. You know, we've heard a lot about them. A lot of people in rugby league are talking about them. So now let's see them at first hand and see how they cope with, you know, one of the form sides in Super League.
There's an efficient kick from Ryan Briley right at the start, at the end of that set, and I think Toronto will be reasonably satisfied with that opening 6.
That was a good set. That there's some questions with some ball movement early on, and then a clever kick there at the end, putting it over the sidelines, making it a stop-start game, because as our guys in the studio have already alluded to, this is going to be an intense game that will be new to Toronto. They'll be taken to places they haven't been before.
Yeah, I've no doubt, you know, their game plan will be good. You know, they're going to be expansive, they're going to be exciting to watch. But defensively, you know, they've got to really up their game from the championship.
Well, they've already been taken to places they've never been before. It's their first game in Warrington here today for the Toronto Wolfpack. And by the way, playing in a competition that's almost as old as the country from which they're from. Canada, established as a nation in 1867. The Challenge Cup, established as Rugby League's most exciting competition in 1896. So there's a bit of history from both points of view. Darryl Clark is the dummy half. Back to Cooper. Here comes Hill with a little bit of a step, but he's going no further than the 40-metre mark.
Nice contrast, isn't it, there? We've seen Toronto with an expansive start, and Warrington really with a low-risk set there, just working the way up with the big fellas there, and finishing the set with a kick.
So
the same
outcome. Gets a bounce, and Harvey Livett, it went backwards, I think, off the Toronto player Chase Stanley, so Gareth O'Brien is able to pick it up, and here comes Stanley to go out from dummy half, recent signing from the NRL, from the Canterbury Bulldogs, only about a month or so ago. And Liam Kay goes out of dummy half. He was the first ever signing for Toronto, and he has been prolific in terms of try scoring this last couple of years.
Another indicator there, Dave, about the game plan there, helping the forwards out in the Toronto back three, the wingers and the centres getting in there just to take a bit of work away from the big fellas.
Bezic out of dummy half. Six Tattle is the next, and Bezic will just put it through for the chase. Ratchford will have to watch it carefully, but he does. Yeah. Cool customer, Stefan Ratchford.
Be disappointed with that, final kick, but I have to say the play of the ball is very, very quick by Toronto.
Here's Charnley.
Well, we've not spoken about Ben Barber and the impact he's had at St Helens. I think Steph Ratchford has been sensational for Warrington. He's in really outstanding form, and he's been a catalyst towards this resurgence that the Wolves are having at the moment.
I think it's a great position to play, isn't it? You're full back, chime in whenever you want.
Good win for Warrington. Clark out of dummy half. Just tries to trick his way through, but dragged down. Emmett and Sims there to do the defending. Here's Benny Westwood, oldest swinger in town. He's Benny Westwood. He's always dropped the ball here. He tried to roll the dice, it didn't come off.
Yeah, he tried to get an offload as he was going down the ground. Loose carry.
36 years of age, Benny Westwood. He's the oldest player in the top flight of rugby league.
Yes, trying to offload the ball there, but 3 men in the tackle from Toronto, putting Westwood under pressure, and that forced the error. So they'll take great heart from that, will the Toronto Wolfpack, forcing the first error.
Yeah, I told you, the boys said in studio, the start is vitally important. The first 5 minutes, I think the tempo of the Toronto side is, is faster than the Warrington side.
I'll tell you when,
They've got to keep that up for the 40 minutes.
Bang, guys. Okay, Ryan. Whoa, Bob, come on. Let's get bound at this scrum. Fellas, second rowers, let's get bound and nearer so Bob can get in. Come on, head in, Bob.
Toronto head coach, previously with
let's come up a minute.
Lee.
Come on, let's front row it. Ashton, get off him.
Decent hooker in his day, wasn't he? Paul Rowley played for England. In fact, you selected him for England, didn't you, when you were the England
World Cup? Yes, in 2000. Yes, a clever player then, and his team reflects his philosophy as well. He enjoys rolling the dice. They enjoy playing some good rugby league.
Get bound.
This scrum's taking a while.
I never see this in
Oh, it's just an excuse to get the 12 big fellas together and get on with the game.
I can't believe it's taking so much time.
Let's get on with the game. Thank you. Here we come. It's Adam Hickson. Off from the wing and having a look down the middle.
Wait.
He's got a birthday coming up next week as Adam Hickson. Penalty for Toronto. Groans from the Warrington supporters. So the kick out of play is from Gareth O'Brien. The tap restart will be for Toronto 35 metres out. There's an opportunity to build some pressure here.
Yep, first chance.
Good quick hands from McCrone to Briley, and stepping in comes O'Brien. So that's the first 5 to go. They're in decent position again here. Hammered forward. Darcy Lussick, Bezic, McCrone, O'Brien. They got the numbers. They got an opportunity. Worthington jamming in, held up on that line.
Well, I thought he should have gone. They'd created the overlap. He should have got a pass up to the wing, maybe.
Back up here.
Yeah, they stripped the numbers out there, hadn't the Toronto Wolfpack. Great skill, wasn't it? The accuracy of the passing was first class, but also credit to Warrington, their great scramble defence.
So back it comes to Briley again, who pops it back to O'Brien, who puts it over the top, and Hickson will score the game's first try. The championship side, the side from Toronto, have taken the lead, and it's Adam Hickson who's scored in the corner.
Well, the quality and execution, you know, of that play and the previous one, it caught them out on the left. I thought they'd blown the opportunity, but then again they regroup and they get the numbers on the right hand. It's a very, very good finish as well.
Yeah, they're very much a shift side. They'll shift the ball one way and straight away. They don't bother setting a point up, it'll come back the other way. But here's the first penalty. They forced one error, and there's the first penalty there in the play. Play the ball there from Hickson. A little aggrieved some of the Warrington players there, but look at the skill here. It's absolutely beautiful. That's a great pass, lobbed over the top there from O'Brien. And I'm with you, Jiffy, that's a great finish from Hickson.
You just see Kevin Brown there, he just steps in, so Goodwin then's not sure. So because Brown steps in, they're all watching in and focusing in, and the long ball is the right pass, and there's the reaction.
That's Toronto, the three brasseurs, they're loving it, they're loving it. There's the Canadian fans back in Toronto. There's the magic of technology for you.
Yeah. Feet moving, wrap him up, hand. No, Dominic, hold up, hey.
And Ryan Briley has the chance to add the 2 here. Well, what a start for Toronto here. Warrington just regrouping in their own in-goal area. A little bit of a chat going on as to what they need just to tighten up with in these early stages. Warrington fans behind were not expecting this. Briley's kick. Height, distance, but not accuracy. It goes wide. 4-0 for Toronto.
Well, if there's any complacency, I think it's gone.
Incredible tempo now set here by Toronto. It's whether or not they're going to be able to sustain it, because in the championship they're not really at that tempo. The Warrington Wolves here, they want to keep it right up there and try and keep the pressure on them.
Well, they've only lost once so far this season, Toronto. That was against the London Broncos. They drew at Barrow much earlier in the year. Rochdale took them close, Toulouse took them close, but they have won all their games this season. 13 matches, apart from That game at London and that game at Barrow. Sims, and look at this, right from the start, they're going right across the line here. What a shift that is on the very first play from a restart.
It's real inventive play, isn't it? You know, the orthodox, the norm is to cart the ball in with your big fellas and start moving the team around them, but straight away there's ball movement and you've got to present a full defensive line or else they'll catch you out.
Sims with the effort, Bezic picks up a dummy half, Emmett helps it on again, and here's Darcy Lussick, who's over the 40-metre mark. How many tackles? 4 gone, 2 to go. McCrone, O'Brien again, causes an issue for defenders when he chimes in.
There's great variety in their set, you have to say.
It's a bit of a juggle from McCrone. He's got it away before Hill gets to him, but kick not necessarily where he wanted it to go as a result of that pressure. Ratchford and Lynham came in. I think he tackled both his own man and the opposition. Well, he's going to have a go with ball in hand this time.
He's a big man, he's Josh Lennon, but my word, he was sat on his backside by 3 Wolfpack defenders.
Good run away from Goodwin. It's Clark who picks up, dashing at Lussick just in case there was a penalty there. Livette from a standing start with given no room in which to work really. Has to take the tackle. They're claiming it's slow, the Warrington fans, but the referee shakes his head and says no. Kevin Brown. Here's Ratchford again.
Just a little bit flat there. No depth.
Well, he's lost some yards here.
There's a great work ethic off the ball though from Toronto, both when they've got ball in hand and when they're defending. They really have come to play.
Kevin Brown kicks away. Ashton Sims has just run into him, and I think he had a whisper in his ear. Do you remember me? Used to be your mate last year. Don't count on anything this year. Kay coming in from the wing. Bezic going left. Lussick again. Darcy Lussick, recently signed from Parramatta in Australia. Bezic. Jacob Emmett. Briley across to O'Brien. There's nowhere to work there for Chase Stanley.
Line boys 4. Go.
Emmett footing it forward. They've gone through 5. They're on the last. So Briley is likely and does kick, and again just rolls it out efficiently and says you can have the ball back, Warrington, but you've got to start from a long way back.
Well, they're certainly moving the big fellas of Warrington about, aren't they, by putting the ball through lots of hands, lots of shape as well, and then when it comes to the end, rolling it over the sideline, walking to the scrum, and it's a set start to defend against Warrington. It's real clever play what the Wolfpack have provided.
Yeah, they've had 5 complete sets, no incomplete sets, and that's important. You know, when you've got the ball, you're in control of the game. No mistakes, the execution is good so far. You know, it's a good start by Toronto.
I'll tell you when. I'll tell you when. Guys, let's get it bound, please. Oi, calm down. Right,
so
get bound, come on.
Here.
Bound! Right, get it in, Kev. Ouch!
Here's Hill. Well, we've got Tulson Tollett with us today, who's down on the sidelines. Tulson, what are you thinking?
Stay very warm down here on the sideline, I can tell you. It's probably the warmest game all year. Toronto were getting on the front foot when they were getting on their belly with those quick play the balls, but I think what's going to happen in the second half especially is that sun's going to come down lower, so high kicks are going to come into play. It'll be Toronto trying to put pressure on Warrington with those high kicks in the first half.
Thanks, Tuls. Warrington's penalty, and the first try from Atkins almost gets into the halfway line, but he's pushed back. Clark trying to deliver it quickly here. Cooper.
Well, the result of Warrington's indiscretion was that Toronto scored, so let's see if Warrington can do similarly so.
Clark.
Wasn't great this kick.
Hughes spinning around. Still got 3 tackles left in the set here, Warrington. Inside the 40-metre mark. Shifted to this left-hand side again. It's with Kevin Brown. Ratchford chiming in for Warrington. Holds it right up into the line. There's a step away here from Bryson Goodwin. He can't progress because Hickson's all over him to make the tackle. Brown back to Harvey Livette, who tries to put the foot down. Hickson came from a long way out to assist with that tackle alongside Chase Stanley on the last. Brown puts it high, up go the arms, and I think it's going to be McCrone who gets it in the end. The referee says he did. There was a knock on though for Warrington followed by the knock-on from Toronto, and so the handover for Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto defended that pretty well. They'll be fully aware this is a tactic Warrington use a great deal. Charlie's very good in the air, but Ryan Atkins particularly so. And they put the ball up there, and Ryan often goes, arms outstretched to pluck it out of the air. And Toronto obviously tipped off about that, got numbers around the ball and diffused the situation. Penalty now.
Again, quick play of the ball, caught Warrington, not square to play the ball. But I tell you what, as John said earlier, Ratchford, he made a lot of yards to get into the end of that play, and he's the one that created the extra man and the threat for lineman.
Not square there, and rightly so. It's a good game. Great start.
Just a reminder, by the way, that the Water Splash final programme is available on the iPlayer.
The biggest compliment I can pay Toronto is if you're a neutral watching this, you wouldn't say who's the Super League side and who's the Championship side, because they've really played well the first 15 minutes.
Here's Briley again on this right-hand side. Dixon's up there with him.
The skill level's very high, but I think it all starts with Bob Bezic. He inevitably nails that dummy half pass, you know.
Here's McCrone away to O'Brien again, and a great pass out to Liam Kay, who flies in at the corner. Well, 2 tries, 2 wingers, twice now Warrington caught on the fringes. What about this? Toronto are leading by 8 points to 0.
I tell you again, the execution of that play was tremendous. They spotted the defence slightly narrow, and it's a beautiful pass. He invites Liam Kay to run onto it, and he does it. That's a brilliant second try. There's a penalty again, which gives him field position. Not square, quick play of the ball.
And then this shift is fantastic. Started, as we said, with the Bob Bezic dummy half pass, but look at that pass from O'Brien. Cut out pass there to Liam Kay, and he's just got that couple of metres on the outside of Josh Charnley, and he is a flyer, and my word, he flies in at the corner.
They've been caught narrow twice now, haven't they? They've been held, dummy runners have held the inside defenders, and it makes the winger make a decision, and they've been caught on the outside twice, you know, for 2 brilliant tries. The execution, I have to say, has been of a high standard. They have come to play, haven't they?
There's a kind of a numbed hum around the stadium at the moment. I don't think these Warrington supporters can believe quite what they're seeing at the moment.
Well, I've watched every Toronto game in the Championship, Dave, and believe you me, as you've been at many of them, they can play. Their handling skills is absolutely first class, and they can back that up with some good defence as well.
That's the key, isn't it? The defence has been very good, but in saying this, you have to say, you know, subconsciously a little bit of complacency that are at the level below. That's got to get out of their game quickly.
Here's Briley. He's missed one from the other touchline. He's missed one from that touchline as well. So it remains 8-0 for Toronto. What does the football manager think about all of this? Brian Noble.
Absolutely fantastic, David. We're on to the great start. I think we're not surprised, some of us. We know we can move the ball. We know we've got attacking prowess. Coach Rowley and the boys, Simon Finnegan and Kerr Haggerty, will be thrilled with the start, but still a long way to go. But absolutely thrilling start and good football. And that's what they think about it in Canada.
There's the 3 brasseurs again. Loving it.
Great scenes, isn't it, in Canada?
Downtown Toronto.
Right, we're ready, Steph.
8-0. What to think about in downtown Warrington at the moment?
Not much.
And that's for the restart. Toronto have possession again and a chance to test this Warrington line again. Darcy Lussick, the first man in. He arrived only back in April. Briley across the line. Oh, and a little bit of a juggle from Chase Stanley. Dixon. There's a lot of reminiscences here today to a cup tie here, 2-3 years ago, when Lee, who were coached by Paul Rowley, who of course coaches Toronto now, and several of these players in the Toronto side were in the Lee side that day. This is one of them, Jake Emmett. When they ran Warrington ragged for a long spell, Warrington actually won the game, but they were really tested by Lee that day, and there's something similar going on here with this Toronto side today.
Well, that was a fantastic game, Dave, that you spoke about, and this is turning out to be a pretty special one as well. And Toronto, they've had the ball 9 times and they've completed 9 sets. It's a great start.
Brilliant, brilliant start.
Well, they're giving a penalty away, though. Josh Charnley just having a little smile in the face of Ashton Sims. He tapped him on the arm to say thanks for that penalty. Atkins. Clark back towards the middle again, and here comes Cooper straightening up. Former England international, still in the frame for the England international scene, of course, Mike Cooper. Clark, 40 metres out, gets up and plays, and Ratchford here now, and Hill heads forward and spins it across to Brown, who dummies. Well, it's given as a forward pass. They might have got away with that, actually. It was all clumsy and unintended, but they might have got away with that as being behind the line, but referees punished them for the malfunctioning of the pass in the first place.
Yeah, it was a bit scruffy, really, wasn't it? You can see what they're trying to do because they had got numbers on them, but they couldn't get the ball efficiently outside them. And one, that's credit to the Toronto defence, but two, it's a little clunky, as the modern parlance is, in attack.
And that 62 passes to 33 so far.
Brilliant. They've had a lot of possession, but more importantly, everyone said in studio the start was, vitally important. After 19 minutes, no errors, complete sets. So they've completed all the sets with no errors. You can't ask for more than that. They have been brilliant first 20 minutes.
Here's McCrone, a dancing step from him, and Aussie.
Stand!
It isn't just the number of passes, Dave, the purposeful passes as well, because as Jonathan pointed out, the lead runners are holding defenders up and it's creating space on the outside. Real great play.
Hickson, first try scorer of the day, moseying towards the halfway line. Ashton Sims now, there's nothing moseying about his approach, is there? He just slams his body into it. Desic, Emmett, Lussick.
He's been a real nuisance, Sims, isn't he?
Penalty,
no.
Penalty, getting towards the back end of the set.
Could they go for 2?
I'd go for 2 here. The conversion, they missed 2 conversions.
Time's off. Do
I'm
not
with
hold them
you,
into the
Jonathan. It'd be interesting to see what the Toronto philosophy is.
Yeah.
Do we take the 2 or roll the dice and go for 6?
What are you doing?
Well, they're very confident of their attack, so you never know.
Time off. All right, so stay on.
They're going for it.
Yeah.
Back on, Col.
Going to carry on running it.
Line, boys.
Use the offence again.
Go.
Hit the ground, stole the ball. Easy decision of the referee.
Danny Westwood's last act for a while as well. He's been off
Wait, boys.
as an interchange player. Lussick. 5 away. Desic up and organising. Time to think here. Goes left again. Step back on the inside by Worthington. Still 5 away. Desic again. Emmett now. Ashton Sims dancing on the spot. Tries the offload. The ball's gone backwards. Hill eventually picks it up. Warrington are on a free play here, and they're keeping it alive wonderfully. Kevin Brown left to Lynham. Lynham steps back on the inside, searching for a route through, and he's taken high, and it's a penalty.
Yeah, 2 mistakes there, wasn't there? The offload that wasn't needed, and then the high shot. It's turned. He's going to call him in as well.
Yeah, it was high, no doubt about that.
Let's have a hear. Let's have a listen to this.
Where we're going. With that. Back here.
Wasn't worth listening to, was it?
Back here, boys.
It's a high shot, keep him down. Thank you.
I think we'd realise that, don't you?
Back on.
To walk all that way. This is it. Right arm came too high. Warrington being urged on by their supporters, who are finding a bit of volume here because they know their side need to be inspired a little, lifted a little in the face of this Toronto upsurge. Ratchford did well to keep hold of that and does even better to get it away, and Harvey Livette skipping away from the first challenge, eventually dealt with by O'Brien, but look where he is, and look where Warrington find themselves. Step back now by Goodwin. Clark, in he goes. It's going to be a big surge from Philbin. Just about his first carry since he came on the field for Benny Westwood. Cooper! Whoa, what a score that is! What a score that is! That took some valiance, didn't it? And there's a little bit of retribution to come, but that was all about the body slam, all about the big physical challenge, and who wanted to get over that line. And Mike Cooper did, and Toronto are not happy.
And Sims is in the middle of it again.
Well, I think you could put that try down as well to Philbin's earlier carry. He indicated I was going to carry that ball. He really ripped in, won that collision, and that allowed that to continue with a try from Cooper. But Jonathan will go back to the 2 points. Should we take the 2 or not? They rolled the dice. They came up with an error, came up with a penalty. The end result's Warrington score.
Ben Thaler not quite getting between those players, but doing a job of trying to calm Chris Hill down.
He's not happy, Chris Hill. Something's happened, hasn't it?
We love the fancy stuff, we love the flair, but I tell you what, we love tries like this as well, don't we, from Mike Cooper?
I agree with John. This, you know, he comes out to the line, Patterson, I think, but he just rises the tackle, spins and goes for it. And I felt they needed something like this. They were far too lateral, and there wasn't many of the forwards carrying the ball up first. But I agree with John. Philbin set the stall out, and then there's the roll. He rolls that tackle, and that's a great finish.
If you come out the line, you've got to hit and you've got to stick. And unfortunately, Patterson didn't there, and Cooper ended up hitting and spinning the collision and coming over the try line.
I'm going to deal with it halfway line. He's here.
I'm not sure what's going on now.
He's over there.
Well, he's going to have a word with, I think he's going to say, get on with the kick here. And then when we go back to the halfway line, I'll have a chat with the miscreants.
Right, Ashton!
But it makes that decision not to go for goal, Jonathan, and to run the ball.
Yeah.
A very significant one.
And very clever. Look, Sims is running off now. He's gone for the interchange, but the official is having a word with him and say, right,
back on.
After the conversion, you can have a chat.
It was like the schoolboy trying to sneak out of the back door, that wasn't it? It was a good kick from Goodwin. 6 points to 8 now. Or 8 points to 6. Toronto nominally the home team. And here we go. Ashton Sims, Mike Cooper on the floor.
Well, there's the disagreement.
And
One or two debating points, shall we say?
Ashton Sims was trying to sneak off on the sidelines before the referee. Well spotted, Jiffy.
There we are.
But he's being called back. Referee says, hang on, son.
See what he says now.
What are you doing, your captain? Josh! Josh!
Mate, someone pulled me here.
Oi!
No, I'm not.
No, he wants another go. He wants another go. Let me at him, ref. Let me at him.
Someone pulled me hair. Well, if your hair's going to be down over your shoulders, there's a very good chance.
Right?
That's just envy from Jonathan Davis.
I'm sick of the
I've got
dialogue.
no problem with my hair, mate. Don't you worry,
the sledging and throwing at people. When I pull you out, I'll blow my whistle, that's it. I don't anymore. Be careful. What happens when the try's been given, and that's it. Go away, I'll do it then.
It's a complaint of a bite here, I think, from Jacob.
Are you making a formal complaint?
No,
or not? No.
I've been bit.
Are you making a formal complaint?
I'm not putting it in through, but I've been bit. Watch out for that.
He's not making a formal complaint, but he just wants the referee to note that he's been bitten.
It's a bit odd, isn't it?
No. Don't you have a word with him?
Well, that spiced things up, hasn't it?
Yeah, and let's see the next drive in now.
Yeah.
Mate, he's saying he's not making a formal complaint.
Ben Thaler probably woke up this morning, you know, that first 2 or 3 seconds when you're not quite sure what you're doing in the day, and then he would have remembered, oh yeah, Toronto v Warrington, this is going to be spicy.
I've had a word with their captain, Chris. I've got to have a word with you as well, mate, all right? I don't need players running in like that when we've got the situation. Listen to me.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't need you reacting like that. When I say go away, let's go away and leave it to me.
Can I speak, sir? No.
Yeah.
Can I speak? Let's sort out the first incident first.
Right. It's dealt with. I know. Dealt with.
Thanks, sir.
Go on. All right. Wait while he's back in position.
It all goes quiet.
I have no idea what's happening here now. Someone's had, his hair pulled. Someone's been bit. Well, let's get on with it.
And they've all been to the headmaster's office.
Well, we're going to get a rugby league game breaking out again here. 8-6 Toronto lead. Warrington with their response. And look at the effort here. I think there was a bit of determination in that run, wasn't there, from young Philbin?
Runs hard him, didn't he?
He certainly does, and he'll be doing it.
And he gets a penalty.
The last carry will be equally as hard as the first one, Jonathan. That's his nature.
He has certainly made an impact.
So Tyrone Roberts finds touch.
They're just trying to slow him down, Bob Bezic, and it was not only the carry, Jonathan, it was also fighting on the floor, wasn't it, to bring the ball back into play, which that's exactly what you want from your interchange players.
Here's Daryl Clark, one-time man of steel a couple of years ago, wasn't he? Daryl Clark, Chris Hill pounds it forward again. Clark's having a look, options right, left, goes to that right-hand side, and again by Roberts and Brown and Hughes. Toronto hanging on there, McCrone with the tackle. It's back again with Philbin. Couple of tackles to go in the set. Still 15 minutes of the half to play. Penalty for Toronto, gives them another 6, unless they decide to kick for goal and level the scores here. Kevin Brown's pointing towards the sticks.
I think they're going to run this.
Okay,
Yeah, I think he's telling which point he wants set in.
Yeah.
Take it in.
He's pointing at where the defensive frailty might be, not the sticks.
Wait with me.
Warrington have the ambition of scoring a try here. Clark, Roberts, Hughes tries to squeeze himself through the gap.
Move! Add wait with me, please.
Here's Daryl Clark again.
Ready. Go.
The Wolfpack are almost on their own line as Clark goes out of dummy half.
How? Release, Carney! 3, line.
Atkins.
Go 3.
Ratchford. Philbin again.
4, move, Adam!
5 away. Clark.
Go.
Back with Roberts. Misses that, and it's been intercepted. Worthington got his hands on that, and Toronto not only get the ball back, they get a penalty as well.
Clear their lines.
What a moment.
Well, good on them as well. They were under pressure there with Toronto, defending repeat sets, and they handled that pretty well at the end, and a good read from Worthington there, trying to find Atkins with a long pass, but Worthington came up with the ball and ultimately came up with a penalty.
That's a good clearing kick as well.
10-4 Wigan leading at the moment against Hull Kingston Rovers. That match kicked off at the same time as us. In fact, a little bit earlier actually than what we kicked off. The draw after we finished here, hopefully live on BBC Two. If not, we'll be on the red button. Depends if this match runs over or not, but we will have a Rugby League forum, come what may. Hashtag BBCRL if you want to get part of the conversation. And 50 years ago it was a bit wetter than it is at the moment, and the water splash final took place, and we've got that wonderful documentary running on the iPlayer at the moment. If you've not seen it, watch it. 45 minutes you'll love. And Toronto find themselves 20 metres out from this Warrington line. Emmett, Briley, O'Brien again, chips to the corner, Hickson's after it all! He got there but couldn't get a hand on the ball, although he's claiming he did. He's claiming he did.
I think he's claiming he was held back or impeded, I think.
But again, a great shape, that attacking shape, and as the wingman came up, O'Brien this time didn't use the pass to unlock it, he just dinked the kick behind him, and I'll tell you, that is a chance that you've got to take those chances if you want to progress in this this competition.
He was the only one who was going to get a hand in the ball, was he? Because he'd beaten Lynham. It's Cooper muscling up. Clark. Philbin. Roberts can't get away. McCrone is in his face, but Hughes helps it along, and Atkins pushing away the challenge of Kay. Bruising effort coming across from Corey Patterson. Charnley throwing a few shapes on that right-hand side.
He's a big ball carrier, he is. Penalty.
And legs went in the air, head went down first.
Yes.
Penalty, and it's all getting a little heated again here.
Yeah, the referee spotted that straight away, didn't he?
Clumsy, that, isn't it?
It was, yes.
Get him down. I think it's just slowly, the lack of discipline now, creeping into their game, putting themselves under pressure with field position, and you can't give you know, quality side like Warrington, those opportunities.
Yeah, just to explain to anyone who doesn't normally watch rugby league, as soon as the legs go higher than the head, it's a penalty because it's a dangerous position.
I remember going back to playing Papua New Guinea. That's what they did all the time, and then drilled you into the hard grounds.
In days gone by, John.
Yeah.
Not hard
Liam
enough
Kay.
in your case,
Liam,
Jonathan.
10 minutes.
Hey,
Oh, there's a card. His yellow card. Liam Kay
well, that's
is off for 10 minutes for his part in that tackle.
from clumsy. That could be very, very costly. 10 minutes before half-time, then a man short for a silly little infringement. What's he doing? What's he thinking?
But the referee's got a duty not only to enforce the laws of the game, but for player safety as well.
Yeah.
So you can understand the reasoning behind that.
There's Cooper.
Ready. Go.
There's Clark to Brown. Oh, Livette, because the defence was right in his face. He took his eye off the ball. It slipped through. So opportunity lost from Warrington in that set.
Well, Ryan Brealey not known for his defensive aplomb, but my word, he got up there, cut the space down for Livette and forced the error. That's good defence, that.
What have we got? Errors. 4 from Warrington. Just the 1 from Toronto so far.
Still good from Toronto.
It's very good, yes. It's a good game of rugby league.
News we're getting from Hull KL, by the way. Wigan's still leading there. I think it was 10-4, but Danny Tickler's been sent off as well. So Hull KL are down to 12 men. I think they're at half-time too. So up against it. Here's Hickson. He's put down. Robbie Hunter-Paul, what are you saying?
It's really important right now that Toronto get back to what they were doing at the beginning of this game. That was controlling the speed and dictating the pace of this game. They've gotten away from it a little bit, probably down to Warrington really starting to come back through and getting a hold of the game. But they need to kick the ball out, walk the scrums, slow it right down when they've got the ball, and obviously on the opposite side of that, can try and control Warrington as much as possible. They've got to chew up these 10 minutes while Liam Kay is off the field.
I noticed Adam Hidson, he was limping after the Warrington try, and I think, you know, as he took that, you know, ball into the tackle, he was very tentative going into the tackle there. So
Yeah, he seems to be protecting her ankle, doesn't he?
yeah, and I just saw it. And as a winger, you know, you need to be on top form, top speed.
But the bench of the Wolfpack really doesn't allow for back interchanges, does it? Unless they push Corey Patterson out there and put Chase Stanley on the wing.
They've got 3 big men, haven't they? Sidlow, Bussey and Hopkins. Ackers, who's very speedy out of dummy half. We'll be seeing him. There's Bussey, the blonde-headed fellow. Liam Kay's the bad boy at the back. 10 minutes in the sin bin. The reason we had that cheer, by the way, was because Wolfie, the mascot, has just pulled his shorts down and shown his hairy backside to the crowd. All good, clean fun on a Sunday afternoon. Here's Jake Emmett. Bezic out of dummy half. Terrific experience, Bob Bezic. Many would say the best hooker outside Super League at the moment, although Ackers on the bench is pushing him. Different type of hooker, but real talent as well. There's a thumping tackle on Sidlow that's seen the ball dislodged.
Well, there's an interchange player as well, making a bit of an impact, but
here we go.
Not happy, the Toronto Wolfpack.
He went looking for that, didn't he? Murdoch Masella. Just watch this now. He chases him, just chops him from behind.
Time off. Take your men that way. Just go over there. Take your lads that way.
Yeah.
Jay, take your boys over
I
there.
don't think Sidlow was aware of his presence,
Over
but
there,
I think he felt his
Go over
presence.
there.
And he didn't go high as well.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that tackle.
All right. Steph, who's your captain? Is Chris off? Who's your captain? Steph, come here. Josh,
So the
come
two captains on the field being
Come here.
drawn out. I've had enough of this, I think, is going to be the
Right.
the mood of this.
No, you'll do. Right, listen, I ain't having this. Every time there's a stoppage in play, we have players running in, players coming together over nothing. Right, I'm not continuing down this way. Get into your lads now and tell them, or I'll start sorting it out.
You know what the captains will do? Go back and say nothing. Go back, get stuck in, lads.
Yeah.
Keep it up, fellas, keep it up.
10. Yeah, you can do, yeah. 10 metres from here.
I'll tell you what, though.
Look at that little smile and a laugh between opposing prop forwards.
Toronto did a good job here because they've made it a bit of a stop-start job since Liam Kay's been off the field.
Yeah.
And it won't tire them as much when they're being allowed to get the oxygen back in their lungs and just have a little rest at every little break. So they're not doing so bad.
And they're still leading, the side from Canada. Toronto 8, Warrington 6. If you're trying to work out that graphic at the top of the screen, who are these two teams? The Canadians at this stage of the Challenge Cup for the first time, and are really giving Warrington, the Super League side, a terrific battle here as well. They might be at parity next year. Toronto very keen to get promoted, and look at how quickly here they're disrupting this Warrington handling because they're rushing up in defence. Real rush defending there.
Tremendous work that. They're putting the skill of the Warrington Wolves consistently under pressure.
It's Philbin. Hughes. Oh, it's over the top. Claims for a forward, not given Josh Charnley. He's a finisher, but he's bumped off a couple. Held down 15 out. Warrington, last play in the set. Hurled all the way to Kevin Brown. Harvey Livett now with a little step and a kick, but well read, easily read.
That's a nothing kick.
They defended that very well because they created the extra man where Liam Kay should have been.
Good play, Warrington.
But then they really did regroup very well, the Toronto Wolfpack, and looked after that play.
Emmett.
Movement, Jack. 3. Go.
Bezic. Slamming their bodies in again here. Sam Hopkins on the field from the interchange bench, as is this fella, Sidler. Briley. Worthington, no winger outside him, of course, because of the sin binning. The kick, if it holds up, is good, but I think it's just going to roll too far. It does. So that's advantage Warrington. 7 tackles set for them now because of the 0 tackle from the tap. So Lynham takes it in. This is almost a gimme, if you like. The set starts from here.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want, isn't it, when you're a man down?
Punishment for the length of the kick. Now they have Roberts out to Murdoch-Masila, and Charnley again looking to wind himself up, but can't hit the gap, can't hit the hole because Macrone's across to make the tackle.
Good cover by Macrone.
But they've travelled a fantastic distance here in this set so far. Here comes Akwala. Sita Akwala, who's impeded from getting up quickly by Patterson. So the penalty goes Warrington's way.
That's a good carry as well when you enter the field. Both Philbin, Murdoch-Masila and Akwala have all made immediate impacts. That's just what you want from your interchange players.
Yeah, I think that's what they missed, the directness. There he goes again.
Oh, Philbin's left the ball behind. It's gone backwards, the referee says. Is there a hand on that? No, he's not waving it. So it's still in the tackle count, and this is a threat here from Goodwin. Brown to Clark. Philbin. It's that direct route again.
Yeah. He certainly has some time with the ball in hand anyway.
Clark uses pawing the ground to his right, but he's gone instead to Akwala, who's trying to go over the top of everybody. Through or over, doesn't care which, just get out of my way, but they didn't, and they pull him down. That's a poor pass. Brown picks it up and turns it into magic. Oh, he pulled that rabbit out of a hat. But the referee wants to see how it was done.
Tackle 3.
Doesn't believe in magic.
I've got no try.
And he's saying no try.
He's checking obstruction there.
I think we see this.
We've got a video referee here. Let's hear from James Child.
Okay, we've got a live decision of no try. We're looking for obstruction. So we're looking there. the player in possession goes behind his own player. We can have another look at this. I think it's Adam Sidlow, the 15 for Toronto. So nice and slow when he receives the ball. He impedes the attempted tackle there by Sidlow, so that will be no try. It will be a penalty, confirming the live call.
Oh, here they go. Here we go. No try. You agree?
Yes, I do. The correct decision. He ran behind a player there who impeded the defensive line. Tap there. That's caught Warrington on the hop.
Yeah. They were miles back.
It's easy yardage, isn't it?
Difficult place to kick out of as well, wasn't it? Here's Bussey. He's a good story, Jack Bussey. This time last year he was having an operation for thyroid cancer. He was really worried, he was really scared, but not only come through it, he's back playing again, and he's playing at a great level, is Jack Bussey.
That's a lovely story.
That's a great offload. Here's Ackers. Dixon. Ackers. He adds a real zip here. Does Andy Ackers? He's one for the future.
2 this time? I think so.
Well, they're a man short, aren't they? So might as well kill the clock as well. 2 points.
There's confirmation. They're going for it, going for the kick.
Well, that's sensible. I mean, it was a high tackle from Livette, and it was against Ackers, who, as you've mentioned, Dave, has really injected himself at that dummy half position. They're a man down, so go for 2 points, take the full minute. And it's a minute that's eaten up into the sim minute.
He's a Wigan lad, is Andy Ackers, isn't he? And he was at London Broncos. He didn't endear himself to the Broncos when he said he was homesick and asked to be released early, and they gave him the release on humanitarian grounds, if you like, and then he signed for Toronto.
James, are we all right?
He's got a different home now.
Or do I need taking it for her?
Anyway.
Yeah.
He's missed 2, but they were both from the touchline. This time it's much more kickable. With those sky blue boots, and over it goes. First of the day from Ryan Brierley, and it's 10 points to 6 that Toronto now lead with 4 minutes of the first half remaining. And they've, whilst being down to 12 men, scored the only 2 points in that period.
And this will be an interesting set to see as well from Toronto. We've seen lots of ball movement coming out of their own end. I think this may well be a little more conservative if they've got a man down. Just looking after the ball, getting to the kick and putting a long kick in at the end of the set.
Stay back, lads.
Just a rider on the Ackers story, by the way. When Toronto are over here, they are actually based in Manchester, so they do spend a lot of time in Manchester.
Back on.
So he is closer to his family, to be fair.
I'll pass you a shovel, Woodsy.
Sidlow.
Keep digging it in.
I don't need
We're
one.
here, boys. Go, 1.
Chase Stanley. Dixon.
2.
He went to school in Warrington, Andrew Dixon,
Go.
many moons ago. Sidlow. McGrow. Patterson. Not a lot of forward movement in that little arrangement of passes from Toronto. Fatigue is bound to be a factor here towards the back end of the first half. Bussey. Full-time professional athletes, but they've been playing at a league lower than Warrington this season.
He's got hold of him.
Sidlow
Go play on 5.
gets up and plays. Brierley with a kick. It hits Kevin Brown. Back to Harvey Livette. There's a stroke of fortune for Warrington. And Dixon falls on top of him, and Livette's not happy. The Warrington fans are not happy. The touch judge is on. The referee with a shrill blast of the whistle. Oh, it's going off here. It's going off here. What's happening in the middle of all that?
I've got it.
Well, that's what's happening on the fringes. Akawala and Hopkins.
Go, team in
Masala. Peacemaker or trouble causer? Not sure which.
Well, no one throws a punch anyway. There's just a lot of angry faces and pushing and shoving, isn't it? So that's all it is.
I'll tell you what, knowing Ben Thaler, I reckon there'll be 2 men in the sin bin here. because I think it's come to the end of his tether.
Yeah, he's had enough now.
He's warned them, hasn't he? He's warned them.
Yep, he has.
What happens here?
They're the two we're going, Dixon and Livette.
Yeah.
Well, there's a punch, if you can call it as such.
Well, that's a pathetic effort.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this.
Yeah.
Like rutting stags. Well, the punch was thrown, not massively. The vet then ducks because he sees something else coming his way. Everybody's on the floor. There's a few arms swinging in there. A few sly digs are being taken.
I haven't.
Dixon's
That's the
having a
only thing I've
yellow
seen
anyway.
as well.
One on each side, Jonathan.
I don't think that warrants a red, do you?
No.
Yeah.
He just took his whiskers off, that's all. Saving him getting shaved.
James, I'm happy with that one thing you've said.
You never know, though. The letter of the law, you know, that could be a red.
He's like a gunfighter in a Western bar here, Ben Taylor. He's just got his hands on his holster, hasn't he? He's going to draw the card out.
Go on.
This is a long half, isn't it?
It is.
So the punch is to the head, yeah? Right, okay.
Just to
There you
warn
go.
you. Oh, it's a red card! Red card for Dixon. Off he goes. Andrew Dixon.
No. Listen to me
Is
now.
there more? Is there more?
You just can't do that, see. In today's game, just rush of blood.
Just a minute. Right? Got your man coming forward quite clearly. They're together, and then he has punched him, and they make contact with the head. I've got no other foul play, but what I have said to you before, right, about players running in. Both teams get stuck into them, any more instance, and I'll take them in action. End of story. Back here. No.
There's a punch. So there was only one card. The colour was red. Andrew Dixon's off. Toronto down to 12 men for the rest of the game. That's 42 minutes, 2 of this, 40 of the second half.
Well, you know.
And they've only got 11 out there at this stage because Liam Kay is still in the sin bin. I think he's due back any minute now.
38 minutes. Good, hard work come and done now, that sending off.
Yeah.
Kay's back on, by the way. It is 12.
But it's 12 men for a long time now.
Brown, Aquala. The way this game's going, though, you wouldn't bank on others going. Clark. Searching. Murdoch-Masilla with a push. Shriek of hell from the referee. So, always got to be a penalty. Is it? No, McCrone. I thought he got an extra tug there. Back to Hughes. Brown. Quick hands. Here's an opportunity for Lynham. Has to cut in, though. Cul-de-sac suddenly appeared in front of him.
Well, they're having to put the work in out with the man down and Warrington moving the ball, but doing it pretty well at the minute.
Brown to Philbin. 50 seconds and a half remaining. 1 tackles left in this particular set. Roberts to Ratchford, and out it goes to Charlie! Oh, has he got there? Is this one of his acrobatic efforts? Yep, it is. The referee doesn't need a second look. McCrone saying, video, no. Josh Charlie's done it again. What a return to rugby league that young fella's having.
Well, they just couldn't handle it, could they, the Toronto Wolfpack? That man down, they'd already had 10 minutes with Kay in the sin bin. We've had the sending off then of Dixon, which put them down to 12 men. There was ball movement first to the left, then back it went to the right, and that's the killer pass there. A superb pass from Stephen Ratchford. Again, it just bought enough pace on the outside for Charlie to really pin his ears back. It goes in, away from Kay, and grounds the ball.
That's a brilliant finish. Just watch. He angles in and just checks his opposite number there. Just checks him and then takes him on the outside. You know, he made that difficult finish look very, very easy. That's a quality finish by a quality winger.
11 tries now. I think this is his 8th appearance back as a Warrington player. Back in rugby league, I should say. There's Dixon, who And get changed back into his civvies again because his service is no longer required.
Yeah, and according to the letter of the law, Mr. Thaler was exactly right.
Yeah, he was.
So
Wasn't much of a punch, but
no, but
it's, you know, letter of the law, he's off.
yep. Plenty to talk about at half-time.
I'm sure a boy Noble will feel.
He's an ex-teammate of John Wilkins, so that's maybe where he learnt his bad habits.
That did.
Goodwin with the kick from the touchline, and his boot strikes goal. 12 points to 10. 2 out of 2 for Goodwin. Warrington hit the lead for the very first time, right on half-time. Let's go down and catch up with Tolson Tollett, who's with Kevin Brown.
Kevin Brown, how important was that try right on the stroke of half-time?
Oh yeah, it was important. I just think we were a bit rushed, a bit scrappy, and we sort of fell into the trap. We knew they were going to come here with a plan, but you know, we just need to get back to what we're doing, arm wrestle, and we'll be all right.
How do you change things now? You've got one player extra on them.
Oh, we'll probably play from the middle a little bit more and see where the space is on which edge we go. So we'll probably do that.
Cheers, Kevin.
All right, mate.
Liam Kay, disappointment for you, obviously in the sin bin. Was it a case of controlled aggression heading into this game?
No, we knew it was going to be a tough test. You know, there was nothing malicious in that. It was totally accidental with that sin bin. So, you know, we thought it was going to be a tough test, so we're down a man. So the second half's going to be even tougher test.
How do you change things in the second half?
We've just got to keep squeaky clean with the penalties and stuff. You know, not get dragged into, you know, wanting to, you know, scuffle and stuff like that. We've just got to play his game complete, and you know, hopefully we'll come through it.
Cheers, Liam.
Ciao, mate.
Well, that was quite a half of rugby league and of scraps and of punching and of all the rest of it. Brian summed that one up with the match facts.
I think Toronto have been magnificent in the way they've approached the game in relation to getting ahead, and Warrington have had to literally scrap their way back into this game. Contrasting styles initially. A couple of cards from the referee have probably changed the complexion of the game. As the game went on, Warrington got more and more confident with a little bit more ball. And I think this might have changed. A couple of referees' decisions probably will change the outlook.
Yeah, I think I've got to defend the referee a little bit here. There's 2 instances that Ben's got to do what he's got to do. You're not allowed to tip somebody in a tackle, whether it's accidental or not. If it's malicious, not purpose, it's red. If it's accidental, it's yellow. He's got to give that yellow card for the type of tackle it was. And you can't throw a punch. A punch is a red card. It's one of those emotional highs that you ride in these kind of games. You either get a reward from it, which they were doing, or you got the risk.
Toronto started with some real intent with the ball. I think they impressed me with how they really brought the game to Warrington. They came with a game plan to shift and move the ball around, and we saw really early on in the piece that they were willing to do that. And some signs that Warrington were going to have to be at their best defensively, and it showed in second play of the game on your own try line. Now, this is an expansive play to put on. Right, it's not executed particularly well, but these sort of plays early in the piece really tired Warrington out. This is the play that leads to a try. I think it's Kev Brown just bites in slightly, forces Goodwin and co outside him to have a nibble. The pass is on the money, and then it's a finish in the corner from Hickson. But that was a result of repetitively moving the ball around. And I think at one stage, about 15-20 minutes in, Toronto had passed the ball 70 times and Warrington had passed it 25 or 30. Again, we see here kick-off. Let's just have a crack, throw the ball around. And this was Toronto at their best in that first half, I thought, when they were really asking a lot of questions of that Warrington defence.
They had to do something in there. They had to come in. They was not going to come in and get into an arm wrestle with Warrington. They had to move the ball, they had to test them on their edges, and they got a lot of reward from it. They came here an emotional high. The energy that they were pursuing the game was way above where Warrington were, and I think that point in the game where they went to that point in front was on that emotional high.
And you carried that on into the second try, didn't they? They kept moving that ball around.
Well, I think it's important that we do. You have a brand and a style of play, and you stick with your principles.
Yeah, well, we see here, I think it's a great attacking play there from Toronto. I think as McCrow goes right into the line, if he doesn't do that, the defenders can move off, as we show there. But he digs right into the line here. It gives Tyrone Roberts a decision to make. He gets caught slightly flat-footed, and then that's a money ball, that, to Kay. Great finish in the corner.
if I'm sitting here looking at this, I think that Josh Chandler's just too tight. He's not giving Kane enough respect. He's got to be 2 or 3 yards wider. He's got a chance to get him in touch, but it's a fantastic attacking play. You've got to give credit to the attack there. He's dug into the line, he's created some space, and it's a great finish.
Look, Toronto scored tries through moving the ball and through passing the ball around, but the area I thought Warrington were poor at the start of the game was how they controlled the ruck. It was too quick.
Do you think they were taken by surprise by the movement?
Well, the movement does 2 things. One, it tires you out because as a defender you're constantly moving, and it makes it hard to get dual contact, slow the rucks down, because you end up making one-on-one tackles. And I thought Toronto sped the game up that way. Flip to that was.
John hit it on the end of the start. He says, if Toronto come in and they're on their best, and Warrington are under, then there's going to be a competition. It's 10-all at half-time. There's a competition. That's what Toronto wanted. They came here to show that they can compete at this level. This is one of the best teams in Super League, and it's 10-all at half-time. They're competing on it.
12-10.
But one of the problems I thought is that Toronto got dragged into a style at the back end of that half, which you do see at championship level. You see ill-discipline, it's more frequent. And those scrapping, accusations of biting, high tackles, all of that you see more of that, in the championship.
Joe Philbin came on and he made a real difference, didn't he, in the build-up to Mike Cooper's try. There's a level of aggression.
Yeah, he played north to south. He went forward and they got a couple of wins in and around their middle and enabled Cooper to hit and ricochet. Patterson's got to do a little bit better there with a hit and stick if he's going to be that aggressive. If it's on the back of the Philbin carry.
If you come out of the line like that, you've got to make the tackle because you're just isolating yourself one-on-one, and he didn't, and Mike Cooper scored the try. And this was Toronto's problem. After that try, there was niggle. There was about 2 or 3 minutes of everyone pushing and shoving. Chris Hill took his scrum cap off. He was fuming. And eventually, what happened is, Toronto went in a downward spiral, conceded penalties, ill-discipline. I think we had the case Simbin, which obviously he says that it's an accident, and it was, but the referees, Dennis, as you say, is forced to give this decision, isn't he?
As soon as it goes over the horizontal there, that's it's a yellow card. If the referee thinks there's any intent in that whatsoever, he gives a red card. It's in the rules, it's what he's done all year, it's what he's got to do. Yeah. It's unfortunate, it's not malicious, but those kind of things are personal.
But this, for me, that's stupid, really.
That's emotion. That's emotion from Dixon, that's just all.
Brian, are you shaking your head at Andrew Dixon or at the red card? Or both?
Well, if the rules are that one punch or one slap of that description is a red card, then it's hard to argue with Ben Taylor's decision. However, in the scheme of things in the game and the push and shove that are going on, I think it takes away from the game.
It did, yeah, but that has opened the door for Warrington now. If their mentality wasn't quite right and they weren't quite, I don't think they were at the races at the start of the game. As soon as that red card came out, I wrote down on my notes here, game over.
I think it could go the other way. I think there's a chance here that they've rode that emotional high in the first half. They needed something to give them that extra boost of being emotional high. I think the sending off could be that thing where you see sides with 12 men all the time that go up a level because they've got something to prove. That could be the thing.
The immediate impact, though, was Josh Charnley going over for the try, which has given Warrington that lead at half-time.
Yeah, and look, Josh Charnley, as we spoke about, he's been in rugby union for a couple of years, but when he's come back, he's not lost any of his finishing prowess at all. In tight spaces, Josh Charnley's lethal because he's a big man. Dennis made a really smart point. He's not quick, but his first 3 or 4 steps get him going in the right direction. Kane second guesses himself. He should have committed there, I think. Go tackle him. Just go tackle him, and even if he shrugs you off here, the help's coming.
That's a great winger's try. It's a slow your feet down, I'm going away from you. And he can score tries like that for fun.
Yeah, he can. He's a big man, and that's why he's so dangerous near the line especially. But they'll be looking to get Charnley into the game more. Darryl Clark will be looking to get in the game more. And Kevin Brown actually mentioned playing from the middle. Pick the middle and pick the side which shot.
What do you think Paul Rory will be saying to the Wolfpack as he sends them back out now? They are down a man and they're down now on the scoreboard.
Well, do you know what? You can sell this. You can have an extra. If you get prepared to make an extra tackle for your mate that's off and work hard around the middle, then you're a chance. I agree with Dennis. You can. Often it's overestimated the fact, but this is a good Warrington team, so they will try and expose the middle first before they go to the fringes. They shouldn't take it lightly. It needs extra effort from this Wolfpack team, the Toronto team, but they need to keep their faith, keep their confidence. I think they've been terrific.
They can. The sending off can have effects on Warrington as well. They might think it's going to get easier again, so they've got to come out and be as emotionally ready and on their game while they're down to 12 men. That's going to be the challenge for Warrington.
I think Warrington will be too good. now Toronto down to 12 men. I think Warrington are going to be too good in the second half.
Slightly strangely, we've got both teams out on the pitch, but we've still got whatever the half-time match was that's going on in the field as well. So there's an awful lot of players out on the pitch of varying shapes and sizes, and I'm not quite sure what's going on, but we do have both of the teams out, and we're trying to get the pitch cleared of other players. Do you remain hopeful, Brian, for your Wolfpack?
Absolutely, I remain confident. You know, it's an element of adversity. It's the Challenge Cup. We're on the big stage. This is what we came to do. We're every chance.
Well, let's hand you back now to our commentary team of John Keir, Jonathan Davis and Dave Woods.
Well, it's poised as far as the scoreline's concerned, isn't it? 12 points to 10, Warrington, the Super League team against the Championship challengers, the new boys from Toronto.
Are we all right to go?
But how damaging is that sending off going to be at the end of or at the back end of that first half that has seen Andrew Dixon away for the rest of the game now? Can Toronto lift again, or do Warrington take control from here? Jonathan Davis?
I can see, you know, the wrong mic up. I can see, you know, the argument from John and Dennis there. Could lift it, but I just think Warrington are a quality side, and they'll unpick, you know, this Toronto side with 12 men. So let's see how they go. They just got to hang on in there now. Keep it tight. Try and push them on the outside.
John Keir?
Yeah, well, straight away they went for a 50 field
they've
position.
gone here from Rashford, and back on the inside. There's a bit of pace here from Clark. They're covering up, but Clark dodges away. Kevin Brown back on the inside, unselfishly. Brown could have scored there without any doubt, but he's given it back to the young fella. Harvey Levette has a collector's item at the start of what we're sure is going to be a stellar career. A Challenge Cup try that has put his side right at the start of this second half with an element of control.
Well, that's exactly how you exploit a team with a man down. He went straight to the middle of the field, so that means there's 5 men at one side of the Toronto defensive line, 4 at the other. They then chose to go at the 4 men, and when they went at the 4 men, there was bigger spaces. It unpicked them in the middle with Rashford going through, and they just poured through. Then it's put old Jack Bussey. They just got stepped. Rashford is through. And then they've played there, so they'll be going to the 50 field position, split it in 2. Wherever the 4-man defensive line is, that's the side Warrington will be going at, just as they've done there.
That looked far too easy. You know, that was just a poor read inside, and then once they break you, they're a great supporting side. So could be a long 40 minutes now for Toronto.
Yeah, I think
Bryson Goodwin, if he has the 2. Which he hasn't. I was going to say if he adds the 2, it makes it a 2-score game, but it remains at 16-10, so trying to go puts Toronto back level. But what about this, young Harvey Levette at the end of it?
Oh, he's an excellent player, isn't he? And he's just growing in confidence. His recent performances have been excellent. And, you know, you do worry now, but this is a real question against Toronto's mettle, really. You know, are you going to front up? Are you going to really give it a good dig? I'm pretty certain they will do. But this is a clever, clever Warrington team, isn't it?
Back on.
Off we go again.
Like you,
Gareth O'Brien with the restart. Ratchford with a safe cap, and here he comes. Wind him up, and off he goes. Philbin is away and through. And I think it's going to be a penalty here for a high tackle. He let them play on because there was an advantage.
Yeah, I think he picked his runner, you know, his defender there. He spotted, I think it was Ryan Brealey there, and then just run straight over the top of him, didn't he? Then he goes, I think I'll run to this guy. Oh, it's a high shot. I think that's Chase Stanley, yeah.
It is, but you bang on, Jonathan. He was picking out Ryan Brealey. He thought, I'm a bit bigger than you, Ryan, so I'm going to mow you over, fella.
Well, if there was a lack of intent at the start of the first half, there is no lack of intent at the start of the second half from the Warrington Wolves. In the primrose and blue, Sita Akwala. They are one of the form sides of Super League, and they are just beginning to show that with the way they've started here in the second half.
It's a good hit there. Jack Bussey.
Go.
Hughes. Clark. Oh, it's a gap for Murdoch Masilla. Just a speed bump provided by Macron to slow him down, and 3 more are able to grab around him. But Warrington are only 10 away. Brown's inside pass, Ratchford spinning it back to Clark. They are producing the fancy stuff at the moment. Clark dabs it through, and Hickson's just got it all on to get a hand on the ball and turn it behind the net ball line, drop out underneath the sticks.
I think they've got to keep their shape now, Toronto, because they're just running out of the line, coming out of the line, no communication. There's gaps either side of that guy that's running out. They're trying to put pressure on, the half-backs, but it's not working. They're exposing themselves either side of the defender. They've got to keep their shape now.
Yeah, I think they're trying to solve the problem on their own, Jonathan, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Rather than solve it as a unit.
Well, they're taking all the time in the world here. It's a tactic we see a lot, isn't it? Just to get some breath back in those lungs again, a bit of recovery after all the hard work at the start.
It's a beautiful day, though, isn't it?
Yeah. The Australians have the shot clock, don't they?
They do.
Where you've got a minute to restart, otherwise you give a penalty away, and that just puts a little bit of pressure.
Here he is again. The Tasmanian Devil, isn't he?
A koala.
There's another one.
Yep. Certainly doing a job, those two.
Clark waits at his feet. Roberts has come to this right-hand side. Oh, and Murdoch Masilla. Well, he doesn't mind running over a few bodies when he's that close to the line, but there were no bodies there to run over. He just strolls in, and Warrington, 2 tries within the opening 5 minutes of this second half, have stamped their authority on this cup tie.
That's great play by Tyrone Roberts. Just watch him. He sees where the shortage of numbers are, and he comes across the ruck and just holds it and pops it. I think he took a hit for his work, but lovely read. Just watch, he comes across late. There he is. There's the extra number defensively. They're just short, and then he holds and holds.
Yeah, creates a 4-on-3, doesn't he? He takes the ball right at the line. As soon as the defender's engaged, interested, lovely soft hands there to Murdoch Masilla, and he could drive a bus if not Murdoch Masilla through that.
Lovely double pump. Holds his defender. Gives a little pass. In the space of 5 minutes. It's a long way back now for the Wolfpack.
That's the angle.
Right, all right. Thanks, mate.
Here's the kicker.
Back on.
There's the setup, and here's the goal. 22 points to 10. Toronto find themselves 2 scores behind now. Happier coach at the start of this second half, I'm sure, Steve Price.
Very much so, and reflected in the scoreline, isn't it? It's a long way back now for the Toronto Wolfpack, with 12 men against an in-form Warrington Wolves with a full complement.
Yeah, everyone wants the ball now for Warrington, doesn't they?
This time last week they were playing in Toronto, the Wolfpack, when they played against Swinton. This time next week they'll be in Newcastle in the Magic Weekend, their match against Toulouse, opening up the Magic Weekend. Every Super League game next weekend is up at Newcastle St James's Park. And then they're off back to Canada for a good chunk of games against English opposition over there.
Shoulder charge.
Penalty for the shoulder charge.
Yeah, Darcy Illicit, I think it is.
Come here, Josh. Come here. You, come here.
I think he said something out of turn, yeah?
I suspect his middle name might be No Nonsense as well, Ben Thaler. Come on, Captain.
Right, you're going to listen to me.
Huh?
You're going to listen to... No, you haven't yet.
They listen to
right.
sir.
You can't... No.
It's a two-way street.
No, it's not.
It is a two-way street, sir. You want respect from me, you've got to give me respect.
I'll give you respect.
Yes, well, I haven't seen it all game, sir.
Right?
Yeah? It's a two-way street.
Are we finished?
Are
we finished? We're finished. Right, I don't expect when I blow my whistle, the captain of the team walking past, mouthing off. Right? I'm going to... No.
Talk to 3 times out there and then come
right, get in the bin.
Well, it was coming, wasn't it? It was coming.
Wasting my time. Here you go.
It was like the Gobby third year having a go at the the head of year. There's only one outcome, you know?
Yeah.
You're off some.
When you start playing this game, right, when you're on the field, there is only one winner, and there he is in the middle. You have to respect him. That's why this game is a great game, because the respect to the referees. Once you start lipping off, just go and sit and calm down the bench, son.
Nod your head, call him sir, take what's coming your way, whatever you think about it.
Well, I think he's made an improbable job impossible now.
Yes.
11 men for Toronto for the next 10 minutes.
Let's see how many points get scored in the next 10 minutes while he's off.
The referee's given the scrum in favour of Toronto here.
He's still going on. He's still going on, look.
Who's the captain?
Those are his teammates, though. They don't mind. That's his coach. I wonder what he's thinking at the moment.
Yeah.
If you're the captain now, I'm not being
If Paul
spoken to.
Rowley,
Black goes back to
as
previous
Brian
captain.
Nuttall is in the
So the rest of the
studio,
game,
we're
you're
able to listen
captain.
to what the
All right?
referee's dialogue was with him. The referee's right. He is exactly right. All he needs to do is button it, listen, and then get back and play on.
You might not think he's right, but he is.
He is, yeah.
But he is going to be right, irrespective if you think he's right or not.
If he says black's white, that's what it is.
Yes, sir. No.
Out to 8 boys.
Worthington.
You just see that 3 players there taking the ball up.
It's my favourite line of the day, that. Button it, listen, get back, play on. Sims. Well, if Toronto can get something in this set, 2 men down, but Lusick, Ackers wants to go, get it going again. O'Brien. Legs just below the perpendicular. The Toronto players might have a case there that might have been a penalty. Stanley. Ackers on the last play here with a little dummy, tries to go over himself, but they are too wily, those Wolves, to allow that kind of thing to happen. And they'll get the ball back with Warrington on their own line.
It seems to me a little bit now as if, look, he's lipping off again now. And I just feel that because they're winning every game, you know, in the championship, and now they're up against it, you just gotta keep your control, I think, a little bit.
Stop talking about it. There's 10 minutes of getting that out of his system. Warrington in control at the moment.
Josh, play where you held. Josh.
Moved up Masilla, trying to push through Patterson. Patterson grabs a hold, and it's another penalty here. High tackle.
He's off again now.
Sort him out.
Another 10 yards downfield because Darcy Lusick
on their man
has just said something out of
turn. Or he'll
turn.
be going where he's gone.
That's it. They have just got to keep their control now. It's going to be embarrassing. The professionals, they got to act accordingly. He spoke out of turn again. Could have been the bin.
I think those penalties conceded indicate we're straight away. You need to tighten up, and that's discipline, because otherwise there's an avalanche coming.
Clark spins it back. Hughes between a pair of flailing arms, and it's another Warrington try. Jack Hughes, the scorer this time. That's 3 tries now in the 10 minutes since the start of this second half.
They're a difficult enough team to play against with a full complement, this Warrington Wolves side, but when you're down to 12, very difficult. When you're down to 11, impossible.
This is the high shot. Nothing in it, but it's a slap to the head.
But it's contact with the head, so it's a penalty. And then the ruck's all over the place there. The numbers are all over the place, and they're just they can't get any 2 or 3 men tackles because there's so few people on the field.
And also, if there's an offload as well, you've had it.
Well, it lends itself to offloads, doesn't it, Jonathan? When there's only 1 or 2 men in the tackle, you get your arm free and pop it up, and over the goal.
Good win. Another 2, and it's 28 points to 10. Warrington now lead. One man sent off, one man in the sin bin for Toronto at the moment. 11 men out there at this stage.
And the way they go in, there's going to be more yellow cards because there's a lot of them just chops into the referee.
Well, the size of the task for Toronto was pretty big beforehand. 9 matches. They have won in succession ahead of this. This is going to take them to 10. St Helens here on the 9th of March, last time they lost. Wigan in control, it would seem, against 12 men Hull KR, 24 points to 10. Another penalty here for Warrington. Still 24-10.
Has hit the ball at his hand, twin the tackle.
And the Ladbrokes Challenge Cup will now be, the draw for the quarter-final will now be on the red button.
There you go, look.
Because of the length of time it's taken for this match. Danny Lussock's shown a yellow card. He's talking out of turn. Off he goes. Toronto are down to 10 men. Have I got my maths right? It is 10 men now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, they're feeling themselves to be the victims.
It's now getting embarrassing.
Yeah.
They are professional players and should conduct themselves accordingly. So like they spat the dummy now, like spoiled kids. Said, oh no, the thing's gone against us. The whole world's against us. Just zip it.
So just to reiterate on the draw, it will be on the red button, not live here on BBC Two because the game is overrunning by quite a distance. And we want to do it properly, so it'll be over on the red button. Here's Josh Charnley again showing wonderful footwork, great balance and poise, but great cover coming across from Toronto, and Atkins.
Hell shot.
From dummy half.
Great tackle, VK, great tackle.
Masilla, well, there were 4 or 5 round there, so inevitably there's going to be a lot of numbers for Warrington on this left-hand side. They can't allow the ball to go left, can't Toronto. Here's Ashton Sims.
He's getting fed up now, the referee, look.
Mate,
the penalty count, I think it's 14-6 or
you're out of
15-6.
ideas. That is a clear penalty.
It's a lot.
Contact with the head. Yeah. Right, you've got to get into your lads. Mate, it's a contact with the head. Mate.
Hey.
Ash.
Yeah.
They're not even hard, mate. They're not even the obvious penalty I've got to give. Please get into your lads. I'm going to have to take further action, mate.
Can I have 2 seconds?
Yeah, you can have 2 seconds with them. Go in.
They're not interpretations though, them other Jonathan. You know, if it's contact with the head, it's a penalty. It's like if it's a punch thrown, it's a sending off. If there's a tip tackle that's purposeful, it's a red.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they're not negotiable then.
No.
So you've just got to get on with it and ride it.
You've got to control your frustration. That's all it is. It's showing frustration.
Clark coming out of dummy half. Westwood, Benny Westwood! The old-timer rolls back the ears and goes in for a Challenge Cup try.
I'm sure Josh McCrone on the bench now feels for his fellow teammates.
They're having to attempt to do the work, aren't they, of basically an onslaught, because Warrington are just getting all the possession, they're getting all the field position, and it's contact with the head.
That's it. There's no way you can defend, you know, with 10 men. I don't think I haven't seen that for a long time on the scoreboard there. 2 yellows and a red, look.
It's been a great campaigner for Warrington, Benny Westwood, down the years. 15 years he's been here now. Just keeps going and going and going, and that's the style he applies on the field. Just keeps going and going and going. It's a great character as well. They love him here.
He loves playing rugby league, doesn't he? And he's going to play wherever he physically can.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Benny Westwood as well. It shows on the field. He loves playing the game.
I think he's a couple of weeks older than Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Yep.
Goodwin puts it over, 34 points to 10.
Yeah. Sims is fine.
25 to go. Warrington, it seems, should be in the bag now. They'll be joining Leeds, St Helens, Catalan, Hull, Lee, Huddersfield, and either Hull KR or Wigan. Wigan were leading that game. And Lee will be the only representatives from the Championship, having claimed the Super League scalp of Salford on Friday night and played very well, did Lee that night. So if they get a home draw, they'll fancy claiming another scalp. If they get an away draw, they might fancy claiming another scalp. Brown, Hill, winding up, and in he goes, and three come to meet him and don't quite stop him in his tracks. He gets another yard or so. Taken out of dummy half by Deck Patton, who's on the field.
They're short this side again.
Well, they were short both sides.
Yeah, they are, yeah. But shorter this side.
Patton, Brown, Livette carries it in and gets the ball away to Tom Lynham, who puts the foot down. It is sparing effort from Hickson, but Lynham will run away and scores the try. It's a mismatch now. It's a total mismatch now. If this were a boxing match, the referee would be stepping in, but Warrington are just going to fill their boots.
Well, they can use it as a practice session now. The game's won. They're in the hat for the next round, the round of 8, and they can just practice little plays. They can set shapes up that they want, and it's just like having an opposed training session.
It's a good finish, good turn of speed there.
Yeah, can run.
10 becomes 11, by the way, because Macron is back on, so Toronto now have 11 men on the field.
Thank you, yeah, he is.
They'll never have more than 12 between now and the end of the game. Tom Lynham, the scorer. Goodwin kicks it well again. 40 points to 10, the scoreline now. Wonder what the Warrington coach is thinking at the moment, Steve Price.
Well, if there's anybody with any bumps or bruises, they'll be brought off, I think, and saved for the Magic weekend next weekend.
Well, his side just had the lead at 12 points to 10 at half-time. They've scored 22 unanswered points since. Wigan are through, 28-10 winners at Hull Kingston Rovers. So we are absolutely certain of 7 of the 8. We're pretty sure of the 8th now that will be in that quarter-final draw. To reiterate, on the red button, not here on BBC Two. You'll have to get over on the red button or the BBC website to see that draw, the details of that draw. Robbie Hunter-Paul and Nathan McAvoy will be helping us out. Macron's just back on the field. He's already given away a penalty. But this time decides he doesn't need to have a word with the referee.
Yeah, I thought he just walked back now, accept the decision.
Come on, fellas, go.
There's a penalty count now. 15 conceded by Toronto, 6 from Warrington. Brown, Livette.
It'd be interesting to see how many were conceded consecutively as well, Dave, wouldn't it? Because Warrington have just had all the ball this second half.
Oh, here's Jack Hughes spinning away and flicking away, and finished this time by Tyrone Roberts. That'll please his coach. Steve Price's first signing when he arrived here at Warrington. Roberts didn't settle in straight away, but he's settling in now, and that partnership with him and Brown getting more and more effective, and here he is scoring a try as well. 44-10 now.
Well, Warrington have improved. I mean, I thought Steve Price, he added something to the defence, but then they've improved the more that Roberts and Brown are playing together and training together, and that's a lovely little burst there, and then great support play, and over he goes. He's had a good game. Nice to see Benny Westwood there with a lovely little soft hands to put Jack Hughes through the gap, and Roberts obliges with the finish.
it's just too easy now, isn't it? That's the thing. You know, they're tired. First half effort, and then in short numbers, just so difficult. And now they're rampant, Warrington.
Well, an in-form Super League side with 13 men on the field against a Championship side who have, at the moment, only 11 men on the field and have been as few as 10. There's only going to be one outcome. Warrington fans are a little more settled and happier.
You know, it's a shame really, because it was a real good contest until Dixon sent him off, or was sent off. Then
Goodwin puts it wide.
Yeah, we had 38 minutes of what the Challenge Cup is all about.
And they gave it a real good go, didn't they? You know, they looked a very competent side.
Chris Hill has put in a big stint here today, but he's currently on the sidelines. But his work never ceases. He is talking now with Tolson Tollett.
Chris, have you ever seen a more one-sided second half than this one?
Nah, I've just said now. I think we're playing pub league here. I think discipline's been horrendous. When we're playing this at amateur, you know what I mean? I've never played in a game like it, to be honest with you.
What's your take on then? You talked about it being amateurish. What seems to have been Toronto's problem, and why are they going like they have?
I think they come with a plan. Probably to slow it down a bit, but it worked first 20. I'll give them that. It worked first 20, but they've had, I think, 3 off at one time. It's probably backfired a little bit.
And this has been an outstanding performance from yourselves to stick with it and to do exactly what you're doing. When you look forward to the quarter-finals, are you anyone in particular that you'd like to get?
Me personally, I probably like Paul Lee. I went watching him on the weekend. So, yeah, I'd like to get Lee. Home or away, I'm not bothered, but yeah, hopefully Lee.
Chris, thanks for your time.
No problem.
Lee Ladd, of course. Chris Hill, he started his career there.
I think he just, spoke honestly there, but the lack of discipline, and it was a dreadful, performance second half by them because of their discipline. I think they got frustrated, got the better of them.
Yeah, forward pass there, wasn't it? Then a bit of respite there for the Toronto Wolfpack, but the referee called that right. And now they've got the ball in hand now for the first time in what seems an eternity, isn't it? Well, they just need to make sure that they look after the ball and get to the end of the set and put it over the sideline, something just to buy a bit of respite to this constant point scoring that's been the second half.
Well, it's not the first time that Warrington have cut through a lower league team in the Challenge Cup this year. John Keir, anything to say?
No, they were very good against Bradford Bulls.
Your Bradford Bulls?
Yes, we were happy with our contribution to the game, and we learned a lot from it, and it's helped us improve.
You brought some fans here as well, and you got about 2,000, 3,000 fans here.
We did, yes. It was packed behind the post to our left here. It was a great occasion, and Warrington were very respectful of our club and our team.
There's Bussey, who's knocked it on in a collision as a tackle came in, so Warrington's head and feed.
Yeah, they could have done with completing, couldn't they? But it'll be hard to do anything with the ball, won't it, Jonathan? Because they're having to invest so much energy covering for people who aren't on the field.
It's going to be difficult, their plan has been to get on the outside, which they did exceptionally well in the first half. They were 2 lovely tries, but now there's no way you're going to get on the outside with 2 men short.
I think they're down to 1 man short, aren't they, at the minute? I think it's 13 v 12. I think it's 13 v 12.
Oh, is Lussick back on?
If I can count, it's 13 v 12 anyway.
Ready, go.
Yeah, it is 13-12. Ball's gone to ground. Atkins picks it up. The referee says knock on. Toronto get head and feed.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, boys, please. Guys, on the 20, please, guys.
Have you seen enough John Keir, you coach in Super League, you're coaching in League One at the moment, and the Championship. Have you seen enough, from what we saw in the opening 20-30 minutes from Toronto, that they are on course for Super League? That discipline has let them down, but they are on course.
They are, yes. I mean, they've got some high-quality personnel out there. They're well coached. They play some good rugby league. But I think what's been a shock, and I think Jonathan alluded to, when they're walking through their division and they're being challenged, but challenged occasionally, you tend to think you get things your own way all the time. Well, when you come up against quality, you don't. And you've got to accept that you're going to have to work hard and attempt to earn your stripes against this quality of opposition.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the first 38 minutes until the sending off. I thought they were competent, their execution was good, their skill level was good, and this will be a huge learning experience for them.
McCrone back on the inside to Ashton Sims. Penalty for Toronto. Going to tap it. Here comes Sims again. Emmett now with a little step prop of his left foot. Slams in, held up. 2 away. Besic. McCrone stepping, looking back towards the middle, but well, he gets that ball wonderfully away again, and Emmett's not sure where he's going. He finds Bossy with a pass.
That's true.
Besic. Sims. Dummy to him, to Emmett. Cries of forward, I think, but not given. Emmett held up right on the line. Besic again here. To Ashton Sims. Can't get that pass away. It looked like a mismatch, but Kevin Brown has knocked it clear with a big slamming effort. Ratchford is the man who runs it clear. And Ratchford's up to the 40-metre mark and still finds a pass away here to Bryson Goodwin, who puts the foot down. Hickson's after him. Kick towards the corner. Lynham's over there. Tom Lynham, the bounce, gets it, scores a try.
That's a beautiful kick. Didn't have the pace to go, which I was surprised about.
Time off.
Having a look at this.
James, 0 tackle, have a try. Can we just make sure there's no foul?
Penalty here.
And therefore we have an 8-point try.
Looking for a foul and a possible 8-point try, i.e. a conversion and then a penalty underneath the sticks. So let's hear from our video referee, James Child.
Okay, we've got a live decision of a try. They're onside on the kick. Then we're just going to look at the pickup and the grounding. So the try is grounded. There is contact there by the Toronto player. Let's have a look. At that point the ball is loose, it takes possession, is entitled to go in and make contact. There is some contact with the knee. Okay, there is contact with the contact with the knee into the chest of the player, but in my view that is not deliberate. He's going in to make a tackle and it's accidental, so it will remain a try.
So it's going to be a try and not the 8-point try. Just to explain for the many of you who are watching who don't watch rugby league on a regular basis, they weren't questioning whether he'd scored the try. He had scored the try. It was a question of whether he was then fouled.
Correct.
After scoring the try, and the video referee saying no, he wasn't. That was a legitimate challenge.
Exactly right.
So it'll just be a straightforward try with a straightforward kick from the touchline for the conversion. In the meantime, there's a Toronto player down injured. Might be Jacob Emmett.
Yeah, it's turned into a bad afternoon for him, hasn't it? The Toronto Wolfpack started so brightly. Real high quality stuff that first 38 minutes where they challenged and bettered their Super League rivals in certain areas. But then the sending off and the lack of discipline, it's just all fallen apart in the second half. It was a good try, that one there.
Yes, Adam Hickson, isn't it, actually, who's down injured.
Yeah. But here it is, it's a free play, there's the header force there. And look at Ratchford, how composed he is, looking around, weighing everything up, and he released Goodwin. Then watch vision from Goodwin. He saw there was no one at home there, and the weighting of the kick, Jonathan, as he's in the process of running, was absolutely first class, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a brilliant kick. Brilliant weight, easy finish. It's a whack in the ribs.
But I'm with the video referee there. I don't think there was any foul play there. He was attempting to get across and prevent him scoring, which is his job.
Well, here's some good news. We've been negotiating behind the scenes, and we're staying on BBC Two for an extra 30 minutes, so that we can bring you the draw live on BBC Two. So that's something we can look forward to. The draw live on the network, right here on BBC Two. We're on air till 6 o'clock now. There's Hickson's collision. Oh, that's a dreadful fall on his shoulder, isn't it?
It was, yeah. Purely accidental collision there, and you know, the medical attention in rugby league is something that we're very proud of, and they make sure it's very prompt, very efficient, follows the medical protocols, and that's what they're doing with young Adam Hickson there. And looks like a shoulder dislocation or a collarbone, but
that was a nasty fall, wasn't it?
It was a nasty fall, but you know, it's a collision sport, isn't it? And
yep. Well, there's a bit of sportsmanship. The Warrington fans applauding politely as the Toronto player is helped off. They're showing their respect for an opponent, their concern for an opponent.
Well, he's had a good afternoon, as Adam Hickson, till his injury, hasn't he? He's scored a very good try. Been very busy with ball in hand, bringing it out from their own end, and his defensive work's been good. And there was an urgency there to the scramble from the break, and for old Dixon there, Andrew Dixon was sending off, was the no doubt in my mind the turning point of the game.
Oh yes.
So Bryson Goodwin looking to take Warrington to the half century. Just in case you were out making yourself a cup of tea ahead of this conversion and you missed the news, we're staying on air till 6 o'clock to bring you the draw for the quarter-final of the Ladbrokes Challenge Cup. Leeds, St Helens, Catalan, Hull, Huddersfield, Wigan and Warrington will be in that draw. And Lee from the Championship will be joining all those Super League clubs as well. Great kick from Goodwin. 50 points to 10. Warrington now lead, and they're enjoying their time in the sunshine. Bit of a travail in the first half, but they're enjoying this second half. You two look quite concerned about yourself. What's up with you two?
Well, we're discussing things, Dave.
All right.
Yes.
Is that what you were discussing, man of the match? Here comes the restart. High one. Oh, and a great take from Charnley. And off he goes. But just got to hand to O'Brien, and Kay finished the job. Atkins spins away, looks for the corner. Goodwin's out there. Lydham's lingering because he fancies a hat-trick to his name, but Atkins goes down with ball in hand. Kevin Brown goes out a dummy half. Oh, scrapped that out. Tough stuff. He's not happy, Kevin. He's not happy, but he's going to have to get on with it. A little bit of a push and shove going on in the background. Deck pattern. Sims came in and hit him hard. Charnley catches it off the bounce, steps on the inside, throws the dummy. Worthington and Kay working there.
I'll tell you,
defensive muscles.
They'll have covered some metres, will this Toronto side? Well, the ones who've played the 80 minutes, they really will.
Philbin.
Through the gap.
5.
Move!
Here's the last tackle in the set. Patton. Masilla! Wow, knockout blow, almost literally, on the Crone, who tried to stop him. McCrone is left on the ground, seeing stars. Masilla is seeing his name in lights. 54-10 now.
Wow, he's a big man.
He is such an asset near the try line.
Well, you come off the bench and you see him appear.
Yeah.
And when he carries the ball like this, it's tough to stop.
And he's usually lining up against one of the half-backs.
Yeah,
It's
exactly
Worthington,
right.
isn't it, who he slams into? Bang.
Oof. And it was just big man v small man. Isolated the small man, and the big man came off on top there.
I know, but just think about it, Kev.
We come in useful, the BBC.
Yeah. Chase. 33, yeah.
Goodwin settles in here.
Time off.
We had fun in the sun yesterday at Castleville and St Helens. We saw some zip and flair from both sides. Ben Barber, the star of the show. We've had fun in the sun here today. Challenge Cup gets doubly serious though in the next round in 3 weeks' time when we bring you the quarterfinals. Draw coming up soon.
Again, that's nice soft hands, isn't it? Right in the teeth of the defensive line. Engaged one defender, which isolated Murdoch Masilla against Worthington. And there was only one winner then.
Time off. Stay behind, boys. Okay, Gaz, when you're ready. Back on.
Off we go again. Ratchford catches.
That's one. Move, guys. Jake. Ready, lads. Ready. Ash.
Murdoch Masilla. Josh Charnley.
Surrender. Stan Corley. Ready. That's two. Go.
Here's Clark. Ratchford wrapped up.
Hal. Release three. Bob, move. Ready, Kim. Ready, mate. Get up. Go three.
Westwood.
Play on. Backwards, still three.
It is like a training run, though, isn't it?
Kevin Brown.
All the
Dummy still in
intensity.
there. Back on the inside to Bryson Goodwin. He's got a bit of pace again and rolls it back, and he's got support as well. Deck pattern. O'Brien's done really well there. Grabs hold of him.
Yeah, he did well there, the fullback, didn't he? But they're all shaped up on the right-hand side.
Ratchford in steps Goodwin, and here's Charnley for another for his collection. And he doesn't even have to dive this time. And he's going all the way underneath the post. Whoa! It's a circus act. All aboard HMS Showboat for Josh Charnley. 60 points to 10 now.
Yeah, I think with that one, with this conversion, it's 50-0 this second half. I think that's the indication of the effect that sending off and the sim binnings have had on this Toronto Wolfpack side. And it's fun in the sun, isn't it, for the Warrington Wolves and the fans. And a good break down the left-hand side. We saw they were shaped up, and it was real crisp handling. Ratchford once again impressive, and Goodwin there just released at Charnley, and then Charnley gave the fans a bit of something to enjoy, beating players in the in-goal area for plonking it right between the six for his hat-trick.
It's a good finisher, isn't he?
Well, he's absolutely loving his time here at Warrington. As we mentioned earlier, you know, a star at Wigan, and he really wanted to try his hand at rugby union at Sale. It didn't work for him. He's not a rugby union winger, is he? His skills in rugby league are different to the... I mean, Jiffy, you understand this a little better, having jumped codes and having dealt with the problems.
It's a very difficult thing to do because, you know, technically they're very, very different, and positional wise, you know, I think it's maybe harder to go into the rugby union because technically it's it's more difficult. But he's, you know, he's a great finisher, absolutely brilliant finisher. He enjoys this game. He gets more ball in this game, and it suits him. So, you know, he's tried it. You got to give him credit for that,
Yeah,
and he's been
absolutely.
honest about it.
Yeah.
So now he's back and he's enjoying what he is. It's a short career, but you know, you won't die wondering, will he? Oh, good trap.
Benny Westwood.
Well, everything's coming out of the book now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Benny Westwood with a football trap, and he'll be dropping a goal next.
Benny Westwood slow to his feet, arthritis I think more than anything else there. Brown picks up from dummy half, and again they try to promote it. The ball's out of play. So Jonathan Davis, John Keir, you between you have been having these discussions about man of the match.
I nearly give it to the referee, Ben Thaler, to be honest. He's been the busiest guy, but I think Ratchford has played well. I think Phil Bin made a big impact when he came on, but his finishing and overall contribution, I think the Ladbrokes Challenge Cup man of the match is Josh Charnley for the hat-trick. I think he's played exceptionally well, but it could have been many, really.
Well done to him. He's now scored 12 tries in his 8th appearance, I think this is. You get a hat-trick against your boys, or do you get 4 against Bradford?
I can't remember to tell you.
And you lost count.
Yeah, I lost count, yeah. I know that both he and Ryan Atkins were very good that afternoon, as both he and Ryan Atkins have been.
Just to reiterate, he might get a hat-trick here. He might get a hat-trick. There's plenty coming across, though. Just to reiterate, that draw live here on BBC Two. We're staying on air for an extra half an hour through till 6 o'clock. Murdoch Masilla. Ratchford, Atkins.
Wait, boys, wait, boys! 3, go.
Here's Clark. Step back by Phil Bin.
4, move, Gunners!
He is an ideal interchange player, isn't he, Jonathan? Because he's so full of energy and aggression.
Kevin Brown pops it back over the top. Harvey Livett tries to sneak in through the back door, but it closes quickly. 1 play to go in this set. Brown 10 metres out, hanging it high. Charnley over the outstretched arms of him and Kay, and a tap back on the 20. Awkward fall as well. You have to take your hats off to Steve Price as well, don't you? Because I mean, it was a bit of a stop-start early couple of weeks for him here as Warrington coach, but now, I mean, they have developed into a very, very good team, haven't they? 10 wins on the trot. I know today there's various circumstances gone into this, but he's worked very well here at this
It's been
club.
excellent. Well, I think first of all we need to acknowledge how good Tony Smith was,
Absolutely.
that he turned them from competitors to contenders. But I think Steve Price has come in, he's changed structures and systems defensively, and they worked on that, nailed that first of all, and then he's come in, he's looked at the attack, he's got both his half-backs working in tandem, and they're just growing and improving as a team. And as a coach, that's all you want your team to do, and he's doing a great job.
I was chatting to one of their celebrity fans, Adam Hills, a comedian presenter, a little earlier. He was here for the Disability Rugby League, which is a big patron of and a big player of. You can hear more of that on the BBC podcast, by the way, tomorrow. But he was saying about, you know, there was never any panic at Warrington, even when they were losing games. Oh, look at that. Out of the in-goal area, Charnley's just popped one up, and here comes Ratchford. And Ratchford's racing away here. There's some tired legs chasing him, but they get there. Patterson pulls him down. That should have been a dropout underneath the sticks. Instead, it's a first play the ball on the halfway line. Penalty for Warrington. It's going to be a first play the ball inside the Toronto half now. Chandler's having fun.
Yeah, well, it's 62-10 up. You can relax and enjoy it, can't you? They've imploded, haven't they?
Yes, they have, yes. Well, that was some good football behind the in-goal area there from Charnley and Ratchford. They've been prominent, both of those, haven't they? Real good.
Where is Jack? Jack, come here, mate. Come, pal.
Patton.
Jack!
Atkins, 10 out.
Go.
Westwood to his left. Brown. Livette picks up on the bounce. Lynham! Oh, hey! Yeah, little swoop to the corner for Tom Lynham. That's his hat-trick. No, that was a good finish.
It was a good finish. It was a well-constructed try, and again it came off the back of how well that Charnley and Ratchford cleared their own in-goal area. A penalty follows. They get some good field position. Once in that good field position, the ball fizzes about from right to left. Benny Westwood instrumental there. There was a bounce pass, but it was what was the money ball from Livette to Lynham, who was holding the chalk, holding the sideline, and a great finish.
He revels in the nickname the Flying Pig. How well does that nickname suit him there? He loves it. He loves that nickname. And that's it, Hooter sounds.
And job well done.
Yeah.
Job well done.
Yeah, very well done. Great contest for 38 minutes. And then the sending off just changed the whole game.
Well, proof in this second half of what we knew before the match began, that Warrington are first class, that they will hope that their name is on the Challenge Cup this year. But then there's 7 other teams who have similar aspirations. They all go into the hat in just a short while for the draw. Goodwin can't finish it off with a kick, but 66 points to 10. Toronto came and provided plenty of thrills and spills in the opening 20-30 minutes of the match. But then discipline became a problem. And as they began losing players to the sin bin and to the red cards, then suddenly the game ran away from them. Warrington were not going to miss that kind of an opportunity, and they have taken full advantage. They kept their heads while those around them were losing theirs, and that is reflected in the scoreline at 66 points to 10. Remember, we've got the draw coming up in just a short while. We're hearing from Josh Charnley, the man of match, I'm sure, and plenty of others. Ashton Sims.
How are you, mate? Hey.
Just hugging one or two. He loves this club. He loves Warrington. You might not have thought that at times, but his wife and kids are here today as guests of the Warrington Wolves Club. And friendliness is reclaimed here at the end of the game. They've enjoyed it, haven't they? Look at that. They've knocked each other senseless at times, but they've loved it. Right, let's go down to the sidelines then, and Tolson Tollett will be catching up with one or two who took part today. Tolson.
Well, Josh Charnley, the man of the match, is with me. Josh, first of all, here's your champagne. Congratulations. A second half that was really a blowout. When you went in at half-time, were you expecting anything like that?
No, you know, they've got some talented players in the team. We had to respect them coming here. So, yeah, you know, the first half was a bit of a blip, but, you know, we reacted well in that second half.
Couple of tries for you, Tom Lynham, with a hat-trick on the other side, so obviously doing well out in the wings. You come back from rugby union. How are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. You know, I had a good stint. I had to try it. I had to, you know, go over and try something new. I thought I had a good go at it, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. So yeah, I'm enjoying my time back in rugby league. 10
victories in a row now in all competitions. What's Steve Price brought to this side this year?
I think the boys are playing with a lot of confidence. You know, we believe in ourselves, so it's showing that on the field.
Who do you expect to get, or who would you like to get in the quarterfinals?
I'm not too bothered, you know. Like you say, we're winning, we're a confident team, so anyone who comes where we go, we'll put up a good shot against them.
Josh, congratulations. Let me just bring in Kevin Brown over here. Kevin, in you come. 54 unanswered points in the second half.
Yeah, we got a bit of a rocket at half-time off the coach, and rightfully so. We were poor and we dropped to their level. They came with a plan and definitely knocked us off in that first half. So second half was more like it, but obviously the sending off really affected them.
The discipline in the first half, I know Steve Price spoke to you about it at half-time, but how difficult was it on occasions there to really control your tempers?
Oh, it's tough. It's really frustrating, and you know, you never want to take a backward step, and that's how you trained all week. But it's about being smart and being professional with it as well, and that's what was so frustrating at half-time. The coach really got into us for being ill-disciplined and losing our temper. So, you know, that was a fantastic second half, and, you know, some great tries, a lot of confidence from it.
Third in Super League, you're now into the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. It's turning out to be quite a season.
Yeah, we're still pretty relaxed. We've not really done much yet. Well, we've done nothing yet. We're moving along nicely, but you know, we're confident that if we keep improving, that we'll be there or thereabouts.
Kevin, thanks for your time.
Cheers, Tulls.
Well, Paul Rowley, the Toronto coach, has joined me. Paul, I have to ask you, 3 yellow cards and 1 red card. Discipline problems?
Yeah, we did have today, that's for sure. We're not happy with that. I thought first half we were very good in all aspects of the game. We were very aggressive. I thought it started to show with Warrington. I thought they started throwing the toys out of the pram at times. Got up, they didn't like it, but our boys reacted to the sucker punch and made it very easy for the officials to make, you know, decisions. So yeah, we're not happy. We was, you know, we were our own worst enemy. On the back of that, no numbers or anything. Still one-on-one tackles, and the way we managed that last second half was not good enough. But you can't come to the form team in Super League and play with no numbers with bad discipline. So
you thought you were harshly done by perhaps with some of those decisions?
On 1 or 2, but overall, it's, you know, we take responsibility for our actions. So we reacted on occasions, and you can't do that. So I think, you know, like Josh McCrone, our captain, getting sin bin for speaking to a referee, maybe that was harsh, but yeah, we make no excuses. A discipline's got to be better, 100%.
Do you think that shows the difference between the Championship and Super League?
I think if Warrington play a side with three men in the bin and 1 red card, they'll do that to any side. So not necessarily, like I say, we've certainly learned a lot. We've learned a lot about our first half, and in contrast the second half as well. So yeah, discipline's got to be better for the second half. Obviously first half, well, we can take heart from the fact that, you know, we matched Salford, Warrington in every way, shape and form, and a couple of goal kicks missed. We should have gone in at half-time in front, but it's an 80-minute game and Warrington fully deserved the victory. They're a red-hot team playing with confidence on a hot day like this. You know, they punished us the best way that they should do, and that's with the ball and playing good rugby.
Well, Paul, we appreciate you fronting up. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, Stephen Price, I'll just bring Stephen Price over here, Steve, if you don't mind coming over. Now, second half, which was obviously overwhelming for the opposition, but how did you rate that performance overall?
I was disappointed, especially with our first half. I thought we, you know, we fell down to their level. I knew that they'd come with a plan to try and slow the game down, and you know, I was disappointed with just certain aspects of our first half and falling into the trap of ill discipline. And when we started want to run direct and be the footy team, which I know we're capable of, you saw some fantastic tries in that second half. And you know, I think there was 24 penalties in the game. It's, you know, it's not a great look for our game, which, but you know, when we applied ourselves and we were really disciplined in that second half, you know, the points come.
I spoke to your captain Chris Hill during the game there. He said it was amateurish what he saw from the other side. Would you agree with that?
Oh well, you know, that's for other people to judge in that. But you know, our main focus this week is, you know, just to do things what we can control. And I thought there was aspects in the first half where we fell to Toronto's level. But when we started to play football like Warrington Wolves are capable of playing, as you saw some really good tries and some really disciplined football in that second half.
Steve, a beautiful day, a beautiful result for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Well, Nick Taylor has tweeted us saying, what a weird game of rugby league. Wolfpack awesome for 20 minutes against the Wolves, but then completely lost the plot. Possibly sums that up rather well, doesn't it?
Probably 38 minutes. I thought they were the better team in the first half, so I think he's slightly off the mark minutes-wise. And I think clearly some lessons from the second half and towards the back of that first half. There's no losing here. We're gives us a lot of lessons, a lot of things to work on.
If Toronto are going to make it into the 8s, and they will be playing, you know, 4 Super League teams, they do need to learn lessons from this game, don't they?
This is a journey. I think Brian's already spoken about it. They're on a journey. Last year they'd run into Salford. They had a big patch in the game. They looked like they could have gone and won that game in the Challenge Cup. They just fell away with an intensity in the game. They've come here and they look like a side that could compete on this level. Ill discipline, little things that just you have to learn lessons from. Players that got over emotional. The occasion got too much for them, and again, it's nobody's fault but their own towards the end. But they got caught up into a whirlwind of, can we solve this ourselves? And they couldn't. They had to just get back to the start. I think Paul Rowley summed it up really well. they just let themselves get carried away and doing things that you can't do at this level of rugby league.
Yeah, no, they got drawn into a bit of a fight, really. I thought it made the game scrappy, and there's Simbin in here for Kay for lifting a leg. And really, I thought it all spiralled from there. And I think, you know, we spoke before the game of this being a Super League quality side. We see Andrew Dixon throwing a punch here, getting sent off. There's enough players in that side with Super League experience not to get drawn into this sort of stuff, in my opinion. I felt like it played into Warrington's hands. They were beating them through playing rugby and playing well with the ball, but the experienced players probably let them down. We see the captain here getting Simbin for the
You can't get into an argument with the referee. You can't voice. You can listen, you can voice an opinion, but you can't start going bantering, arguing, and then you can't turn and shout at him and say whatever he said to him there. It's just not in our game. But I think coming back to the point of Paul Rowley as well again, that if you've only got 11, 12 men on the field against a quality side like Warrington, it doesn't matter if you're a championship side or a Super League side, you're going to get beat by quite convincingly. It's going to take a hell of an effort to get you anywhere near the game. So the score's not about being a championship side and a Super League side. The score's about being an ill-disciplined side against a disciplined side.
Yeah, and when you give Charnley, Goodwin, Ratchford space when you've got 13 players on your field, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous, aren't they? You take 1 or 2, 3 people off the field, then Josh Charnley and co become very, very, very dangerous. And it was nigh on impossible to stop some of the Warrington breaks in that second half. And Charnley here was the benefactor of some slick handling play from Warrington to create some space. And this is where we mentioned Charnley's not quick, but his first 3 or 4 steps get him going, and that footwork, as Dennis said, a great try for a winger that. He sort of created something out of nothing. Ratchford looked dangerous for me all night. Goodwin showed a nice bit of skill here to release Charnley. And I didn't like this. I thought he was over the top, but what a great finish from him.
Yeah, he's just a winger who wants to score tries, and the numbers are down. He's got plenty of space. Like you say, 13 against 13, he scores tries like that when you're down to 11 or 12 men. And he's got a little bit of showboating, and he's enjoying his time as being somebody that gets behind the posts.
It's pure jealousy, that. I've never scored tries like that, so never had to celebrate like that. Have you?
Have you scored tries?
Once. I scored once, a long time ago.
Remember it well, don't you? It was a good length of the field try by the time you finished with it, wasn't it? Brian, it is important, isn't it, that your guys do learn from this. They're not inexperienced players, though. Quite a lot of the tweaks we've been getting say, you know, you've got NRL players, you've got Super League players. They know they can't do that.
Well, I think they have a fair idea with the result of the score. So I think that it's a sobering experience in many respects, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. When they're down to 9 men or 10 men, the boys have just told you it's really difficult, and they're going to score time. A team like Warrington will score points, but clearly there are lessons to learn in that second half, and the approach to some games that will be coming up towards the back end of the year and certainly the top end of the championship. So, yep, we need to be critical of ourselves in relation to what took place certainly just before half-time and after half-time, and whether you can change a referee's mind or not. I think it's very difficult in this day and age. When you look at the punch, they sell me the red card is one punch is a red card. The Simbin lifting around across the horizontal is a Simbin. Probably the other ones are in our control. So we have to look at what's in our control and what's not, and we need to learn from this game today.
Steve Price was pleased after the game, wasn't he, with how Warrington played. But for me, I don't know what you learn from that. You know, I don't know what. You know, a man sent off, there was, you know, a number of yellow cards, and you're playing against the broken sort of defensive line. You know, it wasn't the sort of game he would have been expecting to play. That second half was an abnormal half of rugby. You don't get many halves of rugby like that, and I don't know what Steve Price will learn from that. I thought they struggled at the start, Warrington, and he was disappointed with how they started.
I think like Kevin Brown alluded to it, they got a bit of a rocket at half-time. I think it had been 13 against 13. We've still seen a Warrington side with a different attitude and a different mentality of how they went about the game. Toronto started the game on fire. Like, the skill level was good, their passing was